Hi everyone, I'm Miko and we are sitting here outside of Palestine House of Freedom. We decided to get some fresh air. Sure enough, a few fire trucks are driving down just as we decided to come out here. And I'm sitting with my friend Abusrour from Aida refugee camp near Bethlehem. He's speaking at Palestine House of Freedom tonight. We're doing an iftar in his honor and a few other Palestinian friends who are coming here with him. And I thought it would be a good idea to hear his story. He was imprisoned right after October 7 and held in some of the most horrific torture conditions in the Israeli prison. And I asked him if he would be willing to share some of that. I think it's important information. It's so horrifying that most people, I think, don't even know how bad it is. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, Miko.
To Washington and for agreeing to have this conversation. We have
Sure.
Palestine Coke here as well.
Yeah.
We just got delivered, and so we thought we would put that out there as well. But let's talk about you a little bit. So you're from Aida camp, but you are your family comes from where?
Yeah.
To Aida camp.
My family were forcibly displaced from a village called Beit Natif in 1948. In 1948, like the Zionist militias attacked our village and they forced all the Beit Natif residents like to leave Beit Natif. And then they ended up in Aida refugee camp when the United Nations Relief and Works Agency established the camp, and they started providing the refugees there with tents, with some food and medical care.
So is there a settlement there now in Beit Natif?
Beit Natif, there is a few settlements. One of them called Natif Ha'atzra, and a big part of the village, it's now become like part of Beit Shemesh.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So just outside of Jerusalem. It's not far from Jerusalem.
Yeah. It's very close. It's between Jerusalem and Hebron. Yeah.
Right. So let's just. So what do you do now? You live in Aida camp.
I was born and raised in Aida refugee camp, and since 7 years I am the executive director of Aida Youth Center. Aida Youth Center was established in 1968 to empower the Palestinian young people. At that time, the refugees in Aida, they barely have like food on their plates, and most of them, they were barefooted, you know. So at that time, like to have a community organization in the camp, it was like something, you know, new, like, and something creative that the people wanted to like, they were surprised like to have like a community organization in the camp under that circumstances.
And who initiated it? Who
a group of young people from
Just
Aida.
from the camp,
They were like in the beginning of 20s, and they established it by like establishing a football club. Yeah. And the first activity for them, they were like playing football with a ball of clothes, you know. And most of the players, they were barefooted and in the middle of in the middle of the streets of Aida. Yeah.
I see.
And since that, the center start like to develop and have like different like activities and projects. In the second Intifada, the center was destroyed by the Israeli forces, and we had like to rebuild it again in 2007. And since 2007 until now, like the center was developed a lot. We have several programs like educational, sports, arts, and advocacy programs and projects.
Yeah, it's a beautiful center.
Yeah.
Very beautiful place, very beautiful center. And Aida is in an interesting place because there's a road that goes straight up to the gate, to where the wall is. And I know that very often the soldiers from the other side will shoot, the snipers will shoot, and sometimes they will kill children playing, or sometimes they come in and have these raids, and they raid the camp very violently.
Yeah, you know, despite the hard conditions and the difficult conditions of the refugees in the camp, but the people, they are suffering a lot of the Israeli raids all the time. You know, there is like always night raids by the Israeli forces. The camp surrounded by a separation wall, 7 watchtowers, a permanent military base there. And these watchtowers always occupied by snipers, and many people were killed, were shot, and the camp were always like, many people of the camp, they were arrested at least once in their lifetime. So it's like a place where the people always are violated, like, or there is a lot of physical violation, and they are like always like under the arrests or like being arrested. So the life in the camp, it's really difficult for the people there.
So you were telling me earlier about your arrest. You were just traveling back from Ramallah to Bethlehem in your car, where you stopped at a checkpoint.
Yeah.
Very randomly. When was that?
It was in November 2023, right after the beginning of the genocide.
So about a month after October 7th.
Yeah,
or so.
October 7.
Yeah.
I was in my way back to my home in Bethlehem. At that time, I crossed that. I was in like in my way to cross the Jabba checkpoint. I was stopped by the Israeli forces.
Now the checkpoint just is on the Palestinian side of the wall.
Yeah.
So there's really no reason for there to be a checkpoint, because it's not between Israelis and Palestinians. It's just on the way for Palestinians to Palestinian areas.
For sure, that's like checkpoints, like to make the life of Palestinians harder every time. Like you have like to wait a long time at the checkpoints. And before I came to US, I woke up at 5 a.m. at that day, like, and spent like three hours at a container checkpoint which divide Bethlehem from the Jerusalem villages, and then I have like to stay another 3 hours at the checkpoint between Jerusalem and Hebron, and then like I have like to be at the borders between Palestine and Jordan for another 3 hours, like interrogated and like be making my life harder. This journey or trip, like from Bethlehem to Jordan, supposed like to take like less than 2 hours. It took me more than 12 hours. So these checkpoints in general, it makes the life of the Palestinians harder, and it's kind of collective punishment. So at that time, like in November 2023, I was in my way home, and I was stopped there. 1 minute,
completely
randomly.
Other cars were driving through.
We're driving through. Normally, they didn't stop any car except my car. They asked for my ID. 1 minute, I was kidnapped from my car, handcuffed, blindfolded, and they made me kneel on the ground. And after, they put me in one of the Israeli military bases for 5 hours, and then from this military base to another military base, until I ended up in a detention center in one of the Hebron settlement close to Bethlehem, which called Atzion.
And nobody told you anything?
Nobody told me anything.
No reason, or why, what did you do, what they thought you did? Nothing. They took you, put you in jail, and that's it.
For 9 months, I was always have this question: why they arrested me? They have no charges against me. They didn't tell me anything. They told me only that you are under administrative detention, which is a legal measure that the Israeli forces used against the Palestinians to detain them without any charges or accusations.
So then eventually you were taken to, you said, Offer prison.
Yeah.
And then what? Tell me you told me before when we were talking, since last night, but so from the very beginning, so you go into Offer prison, what happens?
After like 2 days of after 2 days of arresting me, I ended up in Ofer prison. They put me in a 4 feet cell with 11 other detainees.
4 feet.
Yeah, for 9 months. 9 months being completely isolated of the world, have nothing or no information about why I was arrested, why I was held in this prison for all this time. And there was always a physical and psychological torture.
So what does the cell look like?
The cell, it's like an empty, like concrete, empty room, have like 6 beds.
Beds lined up like this?
No, like every two,
like
like yeah,
bunk beds.
bunk
So 3
beds.
bunk
Yeah.
beds.
Yeah, bunk beds, and the other prisoners, they have like to sleep at the ground because we were 12.
So you have 6 actual beds,
Yeah.
and then 6 more people just on the floor.
On the floor, yeah. And there was nothing in the room. It was just concrete room and a bathroom inside. Bathroom like without shower even.
Inside the cell?
Inside the cell, yeah.
No shower.
And no shower. And we have to spend all our days, 24 hours in these cells without like like having enough food. We were starved all of the time. The food that they were brought to us, it was just to keep us alive, you know. It was the best time that I tried like to calculate the calories of the food that they provide us was less than 1,400 calories for each prisoner.
So, so there's no exercise going outside or anything like that. There are no books.
No books, no clothes,
No television.
no television, no radio,
No clothes?
nothing, no clothes. You have like just.
So you wear the prison clothes?
Yeah, the prison
one,
clothes.
One pair.
One pair. Yeah,
And if it gets dirty?
you have like to find a way like to clean it.
So where do you take a shower?
Like usually, like before the 7th of October, the prisoners they were like go outside the prison. There was like a yard outside. They spent like couple of hours outside, and they have like to take the shower outside. But after the 7th of October, they prevent the prisoner from go outside except 10 minutes every day. So in 10 minutes you have like to take shower, to if you have like time like to wash your clothes, and if you have like clothes even like to wash it, and like to come back quickly to your room. So most of the prisoners they were like most of the showers they were like not working. So like there was like just 2 showers working. So most of the prisoners they didn't have time like to shower.
So what is the day like? You get up in the morning. So wait, before that, you told me something yesterday about how you felt when you were put in the cell for the first week. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. You know, the first week, it was the most difficult week. At that time, you know, like being in a dark, cold place with no information about like why you are here, when you will be released. It made me like in a really hard situation and in psychological, like it was like a psychological torture for me. I was like so depressed, feeling that this is the last stage of my life. I'm dying here.
So they took you from your life
And
in
they
1 minute and put you in a cell with no information, no conditions, like this.
Yeah, you end up there.
How would you not become, anybody would become crazy, not just depressed. But
Yeah. It drive you crazy, and if you don't have the belief, if you don't have like the power like to continue, you will end up like crazy in that
Insane.
prison. Yeah, it's insane. Like, you know, you have nothing. You are like just putting in like a mass grave, you know, like a collective grave. Yani, me and the other 11 detainees, we were like feeling all the time that we are in a mass grave together, you know, buried there, isolated, completely isolation. And every day there was like raids. They raids the cells, keep like beating us by their sticks, feet.
Every day they come in.
Every day. Like, and they use like the physical, also the psychological torture, always like, you know, at night start beating the metal objectives, like to make disturbance, to disturb the prisoners. They were like using dogs, unleashing dogs on the prisoners.
Inside the cell.
And that's inside the cell.
They unleash the dog inside the cell.
Inside the cell, yeah.
Do the dogs cover their mouth? Or
Yeah, covered with their mouth, but they were using the dogs like to beat us with the metal cover, you know. And many of the prisoners, like they had like their hands, legs broken, they had like severe injuries, and they no treatment. The people who have like pain or they have like ill, they become ill. They said, okay, yani, there is no matter. There is like 50 prisoners died in the prisons, and be the 51 or the 52, you know. They don't care at all about like your health issues or like if you have pain or no. They want you to severe this pain, like to have
they
this
come
pain.
in every day.
Every day,
Beating.
and
Or no, just
every
hey,
week
they just come in.
Yeah, every week they were like collecting prisoners from like every cell, and they made like a party for them. Party of beating. They call it a party. Yalla, you are invited to a party. They collect the prisoners in the yard, in the outside yard, and they start beating them. This was like every Thursday. Especially like the first 2 months. They were like, this is like the torture, the physical torture that they used against the prisoners.
They beat them with what?
With like bone sticks. And by their feet, by their hands, by the dog. By dogs, like they unleash the dogs and the dogs start like to scratch them, like to beat them with the metal cover on the dog mouth.
How long does that go for?
It depends. It depends on the officers. Yani for half an hour, for an hour, until they get tired.
Then what? They go back to the cell?
Then they like put you back to the cell.
But your blood, you're injured.
Blood, injured, you know, like
no care, no medical care.
Broken legs or hands. I have like one of the prisoners from Aida camp. He had like a broken leg for more than 3 months without any treatment. Yeah, and at the end, like his leg start like to smell, and it was like it's become very dark. After 3 months, they took him like to the Ramla hospital, which is not hospital, and it's a prison.
It's a prison hospital.
Yeah, it's a prison. They called it a Ramla hospital, but it's not a hospital.
Yeah.
It's a prison, and at the end they treat his leg, but for sure, like while he's going to the Ramla prison and coming back from a Ramla prison, he was like insulted, humiliated, beaten all the time. You know, yani anyone who was told that he will be taken to a Ramla hospital, he would say no, because he know what will happen during that time.
So
and all of that, it's like all the physical torture is one side, but the most difficult issue for the prisoners, it was the psychological torture, the isolation. You have nothing, you know nothing about what's happening outside, except when a new detainee come to the arrested and come to the same cell or to the same section. You have no contact with your family. You don't know what's going on there. Especially that, for me, it was the most difficult thing. That when I was arrested, my son was only 3 months old, and you know, like 3 months, like. The children at that time, every day they change. I tried all the time like to draw a picture, imagine him, how he could look like. So most of the nights I couldn't sleep because of hunger, being cold, and like trying to build an image or like draw an image for my son. So this is the psychological torture. It was more difficult for me, and that's why what they try like to use it against us, like by isolating us and keeping us like totally isolated of the outside world.
You told me yesterday that you were just lying on the mattress for a week, completely depressed, and then something happened.
You know, like the first week, I was like totally depressed.
You on the floor or on a bed?
On the floor, and I was thinking that it's my last stage in my life to be here in prison. Then I have like to make a decision, and this decision is the most important decision in my life. I have to be strong. I have like to hold hope strictly and be strong for myself, for my family, and for other prisoners. At that time, I woke up I stand up from my mat where I was sleeping, and I start trying like how I could be an inspiration to other prisoners, like to empower them, like to tell them that it's like a temporary. Start telling them stories and like about the revolutions in Ireland, South Africa, in Algeria, in Vietnam, like how the people, they stand up firmly against the occupation, the colonization, to get their freedom and to be liberated. So we are the freedom fighters that we held in that prisons, because we are like demanding our liberation and our freedom. So at that time, like it made me like really motivated, like to motivate other prisoners, like, and to comfort them, like to be strong and to counter the prison guards. And always when they were beating us, we were at the end smiling at their faces. So they become crazy, and they start like cursing the women in our lives, degrading our mothers, sisters, wives and daughters, and always like degrading our national symbols. You know, they were trying to break our spirit. So the only way like to counter them is like to show them that you are strong. The only way like to show them that you are resilient. You don't yani, it's the time like to make them feel that we are unbreakable. So it was like the way how we counter the guards and the prison, and it was the successful way how we still like strong and resilient. So I think that moment changed my life, and I believe that changed a lot of other prisoners' lives. It was the time that we decided that we are countering the Israeli occupation and colonialism by our spirit, by being strong and being resilient.
And this is after 1 week of lying there in this darkness. Who were the other prisoners? Were they younger, older?
Most of the prisoners, they were younger than me.
Was this your first time in prison?
Yeah, it was the second time. The first time I was arrested for 1 week, but it was like a long time ago when I was an activist in my university, and this was the second time, you know.
So you're saying the other prisoners in the cell were younger than you?
The majority, they were younger than me. They were like 18, 19, or the beginning of 20s, you know. And most of them, they were like university students. They were like some of them, they were also like school students. You know, they were like arresting anyone.
So you're saying that the food was terrible. Do you get food 3 times a day, 1 time a day? I remember I was talking to another friend who was a prisoner. He said, you're always hungry. The pain of hunger never goes away. What is that like? What's the food like?
You know, they were providing us like two meals a day. But what kind of meal, you know? It's like a meal that it's not enough like to feed a baby. What about like, you know, like mature men, you know? So it was like real starvation. And it was like every night. I didn't remember like one night I slept like full, or I could sleep without like suffering from hunger, you know? I was, yani, every day it was like, you know, you are suffering of starvation. When I was released, I lost more than 20 kilos.
I saw the picture when you were released. You look like a completely different person.
Yeah,
you
like
look like you are, first of all, much older, and very, 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 very sick. Very, very sick person.
I was a shell of how we were, you know?
Yes.
I was like, even like when, you know, we didn't have like mirrors in prison. So it was the first time like to see myself after 9 months, it was in my house. When I looked at the mirror at that time, I barely knew myself. You know, it was like weird, like to see yourself after 9 months and how you could look like, how you look like. The new shape, the new look, you know?
You look completely different. Even your face looks completely different.
Yeah, like yani, it was terrible experience that you are like your shape like completely different of how you look like. But it was like the way how the Israeli occupation wants like to deliver a message for the new generations and for like other Palestinians, with the physical deterioration, with the psychological disorders. It's a message like to break the will of Palestinians, to break the resilience of Palestinians, to break to destroy their hope of liberation and freedom. It's used by the Israelis like to break the Palestinian youth and young people. But they don't know that they can't like they can't be successful. You know, now after being in prison for 9 months, I feel that I am more tougher, stronger, and I am more determined, like to continue my mission to empower young people in the Palestinian communities. It's our, you know, like, I'm always saying this, that we don't have the privilege of despair. We have no luxury like to despair, you know. The only way that we can counter this occupation and colonization, it's being strong and like have the hope as our shield. You know, we are shielding ourselves by the hope. And always smile, it was like our weapon to counter the occupation in the present. And I believe that hope, it should be our shield all the time, and we should always like face our destiny by always smiling and being happy, like to be like freedom fighter, to fight for our freedom and for our liberation, because we believe that we will have the victory and we will win one day, sooner or later. This is our destiny as Palestinian, and this is what we believe as young people, that we will win one day. And no like, you know, like there is no like potential like to be defeated. There is no way to be defeated. And this is what the Israelis should understand. All the measures that they are used, all the weapons that they are used, it will not break our spirit, and it will not like halt us from our destiny of being liberated and living in freedom and dignity.
Yeah, Mahmoud Darwish, there's a line where he says Palestinians have incurable hope. It's like a sickness that you can't cure it. Their hope is something that you can never take away from them.
For sure, like, you know, this is like what keep us motivated. This is what keep us like always optimistic. This is what keep us also united, you know. This is like the hope, you know, and I'm sure that this hope, it will not be defeated, yani. This hope, it will not be killed. And they are trying to kill it always, by genocide, by ethnic cleansing, by arrests, by killing, by, you know, all their tools or measures like to kill the hope. It will not work with the Palestinian people. They are doing that for more than 100 years, yani. Yani they should understand, this is the time like for them to understand that they are not going to kill us, they are not going to kill the hope to be free and to be liberated. If they don't get it, I think they will suffer all their life. They should understand that we are the people who will win, who will have the liberation and freedom.
You know, the Israeli government says, especially the Minister for National Security, he says that he took away all the luxury from the prisons, like fresh bread, coffee, but all they kept is what, according to the law, you have to give people to eat.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. What do they eat? What do they give you to eat?
They give us like small, yani like bread, like 5 slices of bread, like 50 ml yogurt, you know, at the morning, and at the evening
That's it?
Yeah,
So bread and a little yogurt.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it. And at night, at the evening, they give us like rice, just very small share of rice, and sometimes with like 1 slice of tomatoes, 1 slice of potatoes, you know, like 1 sausage or 1 egg, you know, like every time they bring something different. Yani sometimes they bring you like 1 egg or 1 slice of sausage, and very small, like, and most of the time it wasn't like it was raw, you know.
It wasn't cooked.
Yeah, or like a small piece of chicken, you know, and that's it. And that's
Nothing
it.
in between.
No.
And they cancel a canteen also. There's no cantina anymore.
No cantina, no coffee, no cigarettes, no tea. The food it was mostly raw, without like spices or salt. The water, we have like to drink tap water, and the tap water, it was like, the color of water, it was yellow, you know. And if we complain, they will raid the cell and they start beating everyone. And at the end, they throw all the food in the bathroom. Yani you don't have like to complain even. You don't have to say no. They use the physical like violence against you if you say no, or you don't want to receive the food, or you want more food. We have people who had diabetes. My cousin was in a cell with a diabetic person. He was killed. He died in a prison, inside the prison, because he didn't enough food. He didn't have enough like calories to survive. He was died in the first month. A lot of people, they were like died and killed in a prison without any protection, and because of being ill, and that there was no treatment, or there was no food like to keep them alive, you know. I remember like there was a prisoner with me, he had cancer, and he said he was always like shouting that I have cancer, I have like to get a treatment, and nobody was responding at all. You know, it was a hell on earth. Yani it wasn't a prison. It was, yani you can call it a concentration camp, you can call it mass grave, you can call it anything, but not a prison. And most of the people, when they hear prison, you know, like prison, it was created for criminals. But you know, like in Palestine, the elite of the Palestinian people, who are in prisons. The intellectuals, the real leaders of the Palestinians, they are in prisons. They deprive the Palestinian
they're not prisoners,
people.
really, they're hostages.
They are hostages.
They're kidnapped.
Yeah, like I was kidnapped.
You were kidnapped for sure.
I was kidnapped for 9 months.
Yeah,
My family, my wife told me after I was released, she called me, like she was trying to call me for 5 hours. She was like very, very like
Oh my
nervous.
goodness, yeah, she must have been
5
sick.
hours like to answer my phone.
Suddenly you didn't come home and she doesn't know what happened.
Yeah, after 5 hours, she started to call my family, my friends, like, where's Anas, where's Anas? All the people, they were looking, where's Anas? They were thinking that I was killed by the Israeli settlers or have a car accident or killed by the Israeli soldiers or kidnapped by the Israeli. They have all the scenarios, you know?
So when did they find out? How long
The,
before they know?
the second day, when the Palestinian coordination office, they try like to call the Palestinian coordination office, and after they told them that Anas arrested, and then they have like the question: is he fine? He was killed, shot. How he's doing? You know.
And no
So
answer.
it was like a torture for all the family, for all the friends, for my wife, for my parents. You know. It's like the collective punishment of all the Palestinians, not only the prisoners.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin in prison for 32 years now. He was arrested since 1993.
You want to say his name?
Nasser Abusrour. Nasser Abusrour, he is like an intellectual Palestinian leader. He wrote like a poet book, 2 novels now, and one of the novels it's translated to many languages. And his mom, since 32 years until now, she's still waiting him.
And he was almost released, right?
He
After
was
Oslo.
almost
After
released.
Oslo, they almost released him, right?
Yeah, but they refused to release them.
The last minute.
Yeah, and in 2014, when Mahmoud Abbas has like a negotiation with the Israelis, they were supposed like to be released in the fourth stage, you know, but then they canceled and they didn't release him, and until now he's still in prison. And his mother, like, she's living only on hope, you know, that one day that she will like hold him again. She still have like 7 embroidery dresses that keep them in her bedroom, and refuse to wear it until he's like released. And she wants like to wear one dress every day. Like she wants like to make a celebration for 7 days, you know. And she has like really like fun and resilient stories. That one day she was dreaming that the angel of death is coming like to take her soul, you know. And she told him, no, wait until my son will be released from prison. And when she told the story for her son and for other prisoners, they were very like they laugh a lot, and they were like very happy to hear that. And the second day, she started like to put a knife under her like under her bed. If the angel of death comes, she will kill him, you know. That's like a funny story about like how like the hope and the resilience of like the mothers of the prisoners. The only dream that they have, like to hold their sons, to see them free, you know.
Yeah. Yesterday you looked at me, you said I look depressed, and then you told me about not getting depressed.
No, like my message for everyone that activist for Palestine or pro-Palestine in any way, we shouldn't be depressed. We shouldn't be tired. Like we are like defending, we are working, we are activists for the most noble cause in this era. So we should be proud that we are working for this cause. We are activists for this cause. We shouldn't be tired. We shouldn't be depressed. We should always be happy that we are the choosing like to work and like to defend this cause. You know, so we should always be equipped by hope, resilient, and like to work harder. If we work harder, one day we will be very proud about what we did, and we will leave a stamp on the history. We'll have the glory that we were defending a cause when most of the world try like to get away and like to be defenseless.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming. Thank you for this
Habib
great
Miko.
conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and hosting me, Habibi.
It's great to have you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that has to be the hardest thing. Not knowing.
What?
That
Yeah.
has to be the hardest thing, not knowing.
You know, like you live you live your life and you don't know like what will happen
In 5 minutes.
in 5 minutes. You know, all your life changed in one moment. Like all your plans like vanished, you know.